Hey, welcome to Man Among Men. I thank you for tuning in today. And today we got a good one for you. My name is Tony. I am your host. And today I want to talk about what happens when you level up and start walking as a man among men. I want to talk about some of the things you can expect as you start to level your life up and start to working on yourself. Start walking in your calling as a man among men. There's just certain things that happen, certain things that take place. And today I want to talk about the things that are guaranteed to take place when you start walking in your calling as a man among men. The channel is Man Among Men, and we deal with different subjects pertaining to manhood and us as men and how we do the things that we do. We're putting together a man's manual to give to our sons and our grandsons and our great grandsons so that they can know how we walk this thing out as men. So in generations to come, they'll be able to see how we walked as men on this earth. Now, if what we're talking about resonates with you, I want you to come join me, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, hit that notification bell, and share the video with all the other men that you know. And speaking of a man among men, I want to say what's up to my man, Mr. Alvin Forbes up in Tallahassee, Florida. Alvin, my brother, you are a man among men, and there are very few like you, Al. Keep doing what you're doing. The first thing that you'll find when you start walking as a man among men is you gain emotional control. That's right. Man, you start getting a hold of your emotions and you start getting emotional control. You stop making rash decisions. You start thinking things through. Before you react to anything, you give it some thought, you get some clarity, and then you proceed from there. No more just flying off the handle and doing anything. No more flying off the handle and making decisions. No more of these spur of the moment decisions where we're going to go out and just blow all our money because we felt good because we went to a good game and the game was good and everybody's hyped up and the adrenaline's flowing. So yeah, man, I'm going to go with y'all and spend all my money. No, we get emotional control now. I'm not saying you become a machine, but you get emotional control. You get control of yourself as a man among men because you understand that decisions are not made through emotions. You stop letting your emotions have their way and you start making decisions based upon emotional control. You control those things. See, when you have to make a decision, what you're doing now is, as a man among men, you pause long enough to connect your response to your principles and not your emotions. So when you become a man among men, you get emotional control. You stop making all these emotional decisions and you become firm in what you're doing. You become firm in the way you're going, and you just become a man who's got control of his emotions because you are a man among men. You're walking, you got destiny, man, you got some things ahead of you. You are heading places and you don't need to be making crazy decisions. So number one, emotional control. Number two, the second thing that happened when you become a man among men and you start walking out your calling and walking out your purpose is you learn how to handle criticism. Yeah, you learn how to handle criticism. So you got to understand that your walk is not a perfect one and you have made some mistakes and you're going to make plenty more mistakes. There are people who can give you some corrective criticism and then that can steer you in the right direction. Listen, what we don't want to do anymore, we're getting away from this idea of every time somebody want to tell you something about yourself, every time somebody want to point something out to you, you want to jump on them and fly off the handle. We're not doing that no more. We can handle criticism now. Now as a man among men, now as a man who has purpose, as a man who's walking in his calling, chosen purpose, now I can handle criticism. So now come tell me what you have to tell me, especially constructive criticism. You know, here's the thing. If somebody is bold enough to walk up to you and say, hey, I see a couple of things that you're doing that may deter you off the road that you want to go, let me tell you about them. Man, you don't fight that. You tell them, come on and tell me what you got. Let me hear it. because I'm more caught up in my purpose and I'm more caught up in where I'm going than in my ego. So please tell me what it is that you see so I can get it straight. When somebody want to give you some constructive criticism and all you're doing is coming up with excuses, you know why you don't want to hear it, and you come up with excuses. Oh, don't tell me that. I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear that. See, you got to understand, when you're coming up with excuses make you sound smart to the wrong audience. Yeah, man, you sound small. You sound smart to the wrong people. Stop coming up with excuses. Listen to what they have to say. Listen to the criticism, especially the constructive criticism. Listen to what they have to say. Take it all in so that you can go on your journey and go on your path and continue to walk this thing out as a man among men. When you become a man among men and you start walking on your path, man, you start handling criticism like a champion. You no longer get upset. You no longer get mad. So number two is you handle criticism a whole lot better than you used to. Number three, when you become a man among men, you stop reacting and you start responding. Now, this is a biggie. We want to stop reacting to situations and we want to start responding to things that come our way. See, it's a major thing when you stop reacting, you start responding. See, when you react to a situation, you just fly off the handle. The first thing that comes to mind is what you do. The first thing that comes to your tongue is what you say. And you're no longer speaking life. You start speaking death because you're just reacting to whatever comes your way. But you want to start responding. And when you start responding, whatever the situation is, you take your time. You think about what you're getting ready to say. You analyze the situation. Does the situation even call for a response? Some situations don't even call for a response. But if the situation called for a response, then what you do is you take your time, you analyze, you think it over. Then you go to the person and you look them in the eye and you respond directly to whatever the situation is. We're not coming up with no excuses. We're not trying to beat nothing off to the path. We're not trying to be sarcastic. We're not trying to throw them under the bus. We ain't trying to one them up. We're not trying to hit them with a good shot. No, only thing we're doing is we're responding to what's going on. As a man among men, you want to respond as the man that you want to be. Respond as the man you see yourself 5, 10 years from now. And we want to stop responding like the little boy inside of us who's frustrated and just want to get them back. The little boy inside of us who just want to hit somebody. The little boy inside of us who have been taught that the only way you can get your way is you tell them off, or you punch somebody, or you get with them and you don't let nobody get with you like that. Man, that's juvenile behavior. You are a man among men now. You've grown up past that. You're walking with purpose. You're walking into your destiny. Man, you don't respond like that no more. We don't do those things no more. What you want to do now as a man, you want to respond as the man that you know that you are going to be. You don't let your circumstances dictate how you conduct yourself. You think about where you're going. You think about where you want to be. You think about your purpose. You think about where you're going to be a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, and then you make a decision to respond based upon where you're going to be, not where you're at right now, because you won't be here long. You'll be here another 2, 3 months. Then you'll be off to the next place in your life. So don't get caught up in responding according to your circumstances. Then you find yourself stuck in your circumstances many more years than you intended to be. So as a man among men, we respond and we don't react. Number 4, when you start walking as a man among men, you'll start showing gratitude and contentment. Yeah, man, you got to start walking in gratitude. You've come a long way. You've accomplished a lot of things. You've done a lot of things. And you need to start showing some gratitude for what you have. Start showing gratitude for those around you. Start showing gratitude for everything that has happened in your life, good and bad. Show gratitude for those things, man, because you got to show gratitude if you want to go further. If you want to gain further, if you want to go further in life and walk into your purpose and walk into your destiny, it's going to be difficult to do that if you can't show gratitude for the place that you are right now. Everything in your life is working for your good. You show gratitude and learn to be content with where you're at. I'm not saying learn to be satisfied. You don't have to be satisfied with where you're at right now. But, my friend, what you can do is you can learn to be content whatever state you find yourself in. Learn to be content in that state. You want to strive for better, and we want to put a plan together in order to do better, but you learn to be content. Show gratitude. Show gratitude for your family. Show gratitude for your children. Show gratitude to your wife. Man, show some gratitude to your children. Go down the hallway and go down there and just have a conversation with your children about nothing. You got to understand, every time you go down the hallway and you walk towards your children's door, they hear your footsteps coming and they know you're coming to yell at them. See, man, it does something on the inside of them, because all daddy do is come down the hall to yell at us. Let's break that up. Break that up. Break that up. Let's stop that. And let's go down the hallway and let's just have a good time with them. Let's go down the hallway and talk to them. Let's go down the hallway and get them accustomed to when they hear their daddy footsteps coming down the hallway, they know something good is on the way. So, my brothers, let's show some gratitude for what we have, show gratitude for where we're at, and let's practice some contentment for where we're at and the things that we have. And let's just show some gratitude, okay? Number 5, when you start walking as a man among men, you no longer need any external validation. Let me tell you something. When you are called to your purpose and you know who you are and you got your legs up under you and you got a foundation up under you and you know where you're going and you know who you are and you know whose you are and you know who you serve and you know who you're walking with, you no longer need external validation. You no longer work and live for that pat on the back. You don't need that attaboy anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. Those things are good. Nothing wrong with any of those things. There's nothing wrong with getting validation, but you don't need it in order to be the man that you've been called to be. You're going to be the man that you've been called to be because you know your purpose and you know where you're going and you are diligent in your business and you know what you came to do. And so therefore, whether you get pat on the back or not, you're still going to do your thing. Whether you get a pat on the back or not, you're still going to be a great father. You're still going to be a great husband. You're still going to do what you came to do. Hey, man, listen, when you start walking as a man among men and you start walking as a man who know who he is and you start walking as a man who knows his purpose and you know that you were created for a purpose, what happens is you start to stand straight up. And you start to erect your spine. You start to stick your chest out. And you start to walk into buildings and walk into offices and walk into rooms with your head up. And you start to walk straight up and down. You stop slouching over because you know that you are a man among men and you no longer need external validation. See, when you know who you are, when you know your purpose, when you know your identity, when you know you are called, when you know what you come to do, you don't need nobody patting you on the back. Because whether they do it or not, you're going to get the job done. See, you got to understand, when you're living for external validation, it comes and it goes. See, some days people will love you, but the next day they be talking about you like a dog, man. I know you think all your boys, they love you. I know you think you tight with all your boys, and man, that's my boy. And I know you think, yeah, but you know what, man? That boy that you think so much of, man, when you turn your back and you go on the other way, he talk about you like a dog. So don't get caught up in needing somebody to pat you on your back or somebody who got to show you something before you can do an excellent job. You do a good job because your creator made you that way. You do a good job because those are the shoes that you walk in. You do a good job because you got a big footprint and you want the world to know that you've been here. You do a good job because you want your sons to walk straight up as men and you want your sons to know that, hey, you watch your dad traverse this earth. You watch the way that your dad walked this place and then you follow after your dad's footprints, your dad's footsteps. Man, stand up and be a man among men. Number 5, when you are a man among men, you no longer need external validation. You no longer need nobody to pat you on your back. You no longer need anybody to say, hey, good boy, you did a good job. You don't need that stuff no more because you know where you're going. You know what your calling is. You know what your purpose is. You know what your destiny is. You know what you're heading to. And whether they like you or whether they hate you, you still on call for your purpose. So number 5 is you no longer need external validation when you start walking as a man among men. So there you have it. 5 character traits that improve tremendously when you start walking as a man among men. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to go down into the comment section. Let me know about some of the character traits that you recognize when you start walking as a man among men, when you understood your purpose and started walking out your calling. Let me know some of the character traits that stood up inside of you. Go down to the comment section, let me know, and we'll talk about those things in a future video. I want to thank you for tuning in with me. I want to thank you for coming in and just checking out the channel. When we wake up in the morning, each and every one of us as men, we're going to stand on the side of our bed and we're going to say, I am a man among men, and there are very few like me. Now, to all my brothers out there, I want you to go and I want you to live that truth out in your life. See you in the next video.